Welcome to this Football Manager 2018 experiment where we have simulated the 2018 World Cup 500 times. I say the word we because this is a group effort, unlike the first video where I simulated the World Cup 100 times all by myself. That video has over 125,000 views at the time of recording this, which is mad, so thank you for the support on that. I just had to keep going. I just had to push further on. And with the help of you guys, thank you so much for anyone that has sent in simulations. We have reached 500, which is amazing. The aim is to keep going. I want to get to 1,000. So if you guys that haven't got involved so far want to get involved and send me simulations, I'll explain how to do that a bit later. So then, the Excel spreadsheet is proof that we have reached 500 simulations thanks to your help. The first 100 are the simulations from the first video. I've stuck them in here. So we've got 400 fresh save files to look at. I'm not going to look at all 400. We would be here all year. But it is fascinating because Belgium were the winners after 100 simulations. But that has changed. We have a new leader. Just scrolling down so you can have a look. But we will have a look in detail at a few more later in the video. But I'm guessing you want to find out who the current leader is after 500 simulations. It is France. They have won an incredible 118 out of the 500 World Cup simulations that have been completed. Belgium have slipped to second place, but still an impressive 77 wins, with Brazil and Spain joint third on 61. The current real-life holders, Germany, only 37 wins. So according to the game, according to FM18, they're the fifth favourites for this year's World Cup. Argentina and England both managed to win 21. Croatia and Portugal did quite well, 18 wins each. Uruguay 16, and another South American team, Colombia, with 12 wins. Denmark, probably the biggest surprise package with 10 wins. They do have a good squad, but I wasn't expecting them to win 10 World Cups. Serbia and Russia 6 each. Sweden, Switzerland, Mexico and Morocco, which is a massive shock, 3 wins each. I would have thought that the most successful African team by this point, after 500 simulations, would be Egypt, just because of Mo Salah, to be honest. But yeah, I would have thought they would have won by now. They have kind of bottled it a bit. They've lost 7 finals. They finished third a couple of times and also fourth, I think, 8 times. Senegal, Poland and Peru have managed to win it twice. So we have had a few African winners, lots of South American and European winners as well, of course. I've also listed out the runners-up, 3rd place and 4th place, for those interested as well. I'll put a link to this spreadsheet in the description below so you can download this and have a look at it in a little bit more detail. There's a few blanks on the main spreadsheet just because some people didn't give me every single piece of information. But we've got all the winners to 4th place filled in. That is the most important thing to have filled in. Argentina are the biggest bottle jobs of them all because they have lost 59 finals and they've only won 21. That's really, really poor. France actually have lost the second highest number, but remember they've won 118 World Cups, so to actually reach that many finals is incredible. I've also noticed that when France do actually reach the semi-finals, they more often than not go on to reach the final, but when they fail to do so, they've managed to win 3rd place 70 times and only finish 4th 17 times. So it just shows they're really good at the big games, either to win the whole competition or to finish 3rd. So that's really, really impressive. Brazil also quite impressive, 72 times they finished 3rd as well. England, 41 times they've finished 3rd and 41 times they finished 4th. And another thing I noticed, Germany have won the same number of finals as they have lost. 37 losses in a final as well. Some intriguing stuff. The reason why I want to continue this really is to see how many winners we can get. There's still quite a few teams that haven't managed to win the World Cup. How long do we have to keep going for all 32 nations to win? Is it impossible? Would we simulate for years and years and years and still fail to see Saudi Arabia, Japan, Iran win a World Cup? I wouldn't be surprised because they've not been anywhere near it. I just want to give a special shout out to the chap that did 175 simulations for me, which is just, you thought I was mad for doing 100 all by myself. This is This is next level dedication. So thank you to, I'll put his Twitter here, at Hestia. He says he doesn't use Twitter, but I wanted to put it in there anyway. But yeah, he's done 175 simulations, which is crazy. Just to let you know, because Football Manager doesn't have the real licenses for Germany and Japan, you do have to do a little fix to get around that. And some people probably didn't really know how to do that or didn't realise it was a thing. So there are quite a few simulations where Germany and Japan don't have the real player names. It's not a massive problem because they are filled with fake players with fake names, but they're based on the real players. So for example, you'd have Ozil, but it'd be named John or something like that, and it would be his attributes. So it doesn't really have an impact on those teams because Germany have actually managed to win it even with their fake players. So that's not a problem. It's just for authenticity, I like to have the real German players in there, which is what I did. Most people did, but there are a few save files which don't have the real German team. So if you spot any weird names here, it's probably a fake German. Unlikely to be a fake Japanese player because I don't think we've seen Japan feature in the semi-finals at all. I've also put a little pivot table together to show how many times the nations have reached the semi-finals. So France have reached 259 of the 500 semi-finals. That's really impressive. Brazil second, Belgium down in third. But we've got Nigeria and Iceland reaching it once. So we've actually had 28 of the World Cup teams reach the semi-finals. I think, off the top of my head, the only teams not to reach the semi-finals are Saudi Arabia, Iran, Japan and Tunisia. How long will it take us to see those four nations reach the semi-final? We could simulate forever, I think. I really hope we get there at some point. That takes me on to how you guys can get involved. Now, there's a link to a video in the description below that I released about a week ago, asking for your help. So there's a few details there explaining how you can get involved. There's a Discord chat. I've put a link to the Discord in the description below so you can join my Discord, and there's a little channel there where you can talk about this World Cup simulation thing. You can submit it to me via email or through the Discord. Upload your save files to MediaFire. It'd be handy if you could put together an Excel spreadsheet or note down the results for me so I can easily input it into this. So the next milestone is 1,000. We've actually had over 500 simulations already, so if you haven't seen yours, it's because you're going to be in the next video. It's pretty amazing how we reached 500 so quickly. So for the rest of this video, I'm going to have a look at a few highlights from the save files that were sent in to me, some things that jumped out at me. And the first thing that jumped out at me was this ridiculous third place playoff between Argentina and Colombia. You'll notice the Spain versus England final finished 1-0. Quite boring, but this is a game and a half. I want to see this. I want to see this in real life. I want this to happen. Bacca scored a hat-trick. He was the top goal scorer for the tournament with 11 goals, by the way. But this is just crazy. Once again, by the way, Messi playing in central midfield. We saw it in the first 100 simulations that I did, and it just seems to be fixed in the game that Messi plays in central midfield for Argentina. We'll have to see if that happens in real life in the summer. But wow, what a game, eh? This final certainly jumped out because France beat England. Not just beat, they absolutely mullered England 5-0, and Griezmann scored a hat-trick in the World Cup final. We've seen quite a few hat-tricks in the World Cup finals during the 500 simulations. Of course, if it happens, it'll be the first player since Sir Geoff Hurst in 1966. I've got a couple of high-scoring finals for you, sent in by TMLB. Thank you for your support. As you can see, Uruguay 4, Spain 3. What a final. Cavani looks like he missed the penalty and put in the winner. It went on to be the winner anyway. Morata did get a goal back, but it wasn't enough. What a final that is. Morata was the top goal scorer at this competition, with Germany finishing third and Serbia finishing fourth. And the other high-scoring final sees Spain on the other side of things. They managed to beat Belgium 5-3. This is a cracking final. 2 own goals. Lukaku scored 2 goals, but it wasn't enough because by that point, Spain were 5-1 up. So they really did rip through Belgium in this particular final. You can see 3 players managed to score 7 goals in this competition. Third place playoff was also a fascinating game because Germany beat Portugal 5-2. 2 goals for Werner and Müller. Ronaldo scored a goal. Great stuff. This was an incredible World Cup because Peru went on to win it against Spain in the final 3-2. But I just want to have a look at how they managed to get to that point because It really is some achievement, Peru winning the World Cup. They actually qualified from their group above France in second place, below Denmark, who did very well during these simulations, of course. Then in the second round, we saw them beat Nigeria 2-0, so not the hardest second round match. Quarter-final stage, they defeated Uruguay in extra time, 1-0. Semi-finals, they beat Sweden 3-2, really good game that one. A hat-trick from this chap, Rudiaz. And then in the final, 3-2 against Spain. It really is an incredible achievement. Rudiaz scored. They were actually 2-0 down after goals from Mata and Costa put Spain 2-0 up in the side the first 30 minutes. What a comeback. I mean, Jefferson Farfan getting involved as well. Absolute legend. He scored a penalty. And Luis Ramirez with the 91st minute winner. Wow, imagine the scenes in Peru. There were incredible scenes when they qualified for the World Cup. So I can't even begin to imagine what would happen to the country if this actually happened. Let's have a look at the winning goal then. Look at that. That was like a scissor kick type thing as well. Past De Gea to win Peru the World Cup. Germany went on to beat Sweden 2-1 in the third place playoff, by the way. And John Guidetti, who's won a few golden boots during these simulations, he got 9 goals in this tournament. Really impressive stuff from him. So the next few World Cups I'm going to show you were all sent in by the wonderful chap that did 175 simulations. The first one I'm going to look at is the Ronaldo World Cup. He didn't win the World Cup, but he scored 13 goals to be the top goal scorer in the tournament. That is truly phenomenal stuff from him. And he also won Best Player, as you would expect, after scoring 13 goals. So well done to Ronaldo for that. It was actually Brazil that beat Russia 2-1 in the final. Russia doing well to get through to that final. Portugal actually finished 4th because Poland beat them on penalties. But Ronaldo scored a hat-trick. He did everything he could to win Portugal the World Cup. But unfortunately, his teammates couldn't help him enough to get that elusive trophy. The next World Cup was all about Mbappe. But once again, the top goal scorer failed to win the World Cup. He scored 12 goals to help France in this tournament in the 7 games they played, but unfortunately this wasn't one of the ones that he actually managed to win the World Cup, and he got top goal scorer and also best player. Argentina beat Brazil in the final, so that's an intriguing final, isn't it? Argentina-Brazil, what a clash, and Higuain scored in the 91st minute to win Argentina the World Cup. They did bottle a lot of finals, but they didn't bottle that one. France beat Colombia 3-1 in the third place playoff. Mbappe scored twice, as you can see there. In fact, he probably scored in every single game. He did actually, yeah. Scored in all the group games and all of the knockout games, plus the third place playoff. How about this for a final? France 5, Germany 4. Werner scores a hat-trick but ends up on the losing side. Lacazette scores a 113th minute winner. Wow. I want to see that. I want this to be the final in the summer. 5-4. Crazy scenes. Colombia beat Egypt 1-0 in the third place playoff, so Egypt did well to get through to this semi-finals, but unfortunately went on to lose and finish 4th. Werner was top goal scorer with 12 goals, by the way. Very impressive stuff. So this is one of the World Cups that Morocco managed to win. Absolute miracle. And 2 unusual finalists as well. Morocco versus Sweden in this final, and Morocco went on to win on penalties. But let's have a look to see how they got to this point, because it's quite an achievement getting out their group, let alone going on to win it, because they finished above Spain, finished behind Portugal, but second place was enough to go through. Of course, Egypt and Saudi Arabia went through that. Now that is a surprise. We haven't seen Saudi Arabia get through before, I don't think. There might be some saves where they have, but this is the first time I've actually seen it. In the second round then, Saudi Arabia actually lost against Morocco, so wow, that is intriguing. Saudi Arabia topped their group to take on second place Morocco, and they actually lost. 91st minute winner from Karim Al Ahmadi. In the quarterfinals then, Morocco beat Denmark 2-1. They turned it around. Christian Eriksen put them 1-0 up, but a red card let Denmark down there, and Morocco took advantage. This is a really strange quarterfinal lineup. Morocco-Denmark, Portugal beat Argentina, Sweden beat Poland, and Switzerland beat Senegal. That is amazing. And then in the semis, Morocco beat Switzerland 2-0. So they didn't really have to take on a superstar team. Of course they did in the group stage by taking Portugal and Spain, but once they'd got through that group, they were playing good teams, but not teams that are expected to win the World Cup. So a little bit fortunate in that, but this is what I like to see, these crazy alternative realities where you just don't have Brazil, Spain, Germany, Belgium getting through to the semi-finals. You've got all these other teams. Portugal beat Switzerland in the third place playoff, by the way. But wow, what a weird tournament that is. John Guidetti, top goal scorer once again. Argentina like 6-4 finals, don't they? We saw 2 of these in the 100 simulations I did. And here's another one. They beat Croatia 6-4 in the World Cup final. And it went to extra time as well. Aguero scored, Higuain scored twice, Messi actually scored the last goal of the game. Well, Perisic scored the last goal of the game, Messi scored the last goal of the game for Argentina. This is a final and a half. If anyone wants to see specific saves in detail, then download the Excel spreadsheet and then let me know the number of the simulation that you'd like me to look in at detail. I don't have the save files for everything, not all of them were sent to me. If there's enough interest, then I will have a look at a few saves. Despite that 6-4 final, the top goal scorer only scored 6 goals. Aguero and Firmino were joint at the top. Aguero got the best player award, and yep, he won the Golden Boot as well. Who finished third? It was Poland. Poland beat Brazil on penalties to win third place. Another shocking final. Denmark beat Belgium 4-2. Well done to Denmark. Of course, they won 10 in total. Belgium, the second most successful team. We haven't really focused on them in this video, but they have been very impressive during these simulations. But this was an impressive performance from Denmark. Dolberg was the man of the match. He's done really well, actually. He's very young. He's only 20, but he's done exceptionally well on these simulations. Guidetti, top goal scorer again. 3 out of the few that I've looked at, Guidetti has been top goal scorer. It's bizarre. Sweden finished third, by the way. They beat Spain 3-0 in the best placed playoff, with Forsberg scoring twice and Guidetti once. Another bonkers final. Argentina love a high scoring final, don't they? They either thrash teams or they get thrashed. That's just their style of play. This was ridiculous low. Belgium actually went 2-0 up. 63rd minute, 66th minute, Hazard puts them 2-0 up. Higuain gets a 90th minute goal to pull it back. Aguero scores in the 94th minute to send it to extra time. What a turnaround from Argentina. But then Batshuayi scores in the 97th minute to put Belgium 3-2 up. Musunda scores in the 102nd minute. Higuain gives them a little bit of hope, making it 4-3. But we saw Rojo get sent off a minute later, and Belgium eventually pulled away. Eden Hazard scoring in the 110th and 111th minute and getting man of the match. Oh, that is ridiculous. Germany beat Croatia 2-0 in the third place playoff. Royce actually went on to win the Golden Boot. We've got to have a look at a World Cup that England managed to win. A large percentage of my views do come from England. I know a lot of you think England are overpowered on Football Manager. I do. I think so too. Over the years they have been. They always seem to turn into a superpower in world football, which hasn't really happened in real life, has it? However, I think after 500 simulations, I think you could say England would win a few. And I'm pleased they haven't run away with it. They're the joint 6th favourites according to Football Manager, which is probably being a bit generous. I'd say Uruguay are more likely to win it than England, but you never know. We'll see what happens in Russia in the summer. So this final, England managed to beat Brazil 2-1. Lallana and Kane with the goals. Gabriel Jesus did get a consolation goal, but it wasn't enough. Kane had a really good tournament. He scored 10 goals, as you can see there. Denmark beat Spain in the third place playoff. Denmark just doing really, really well. As you can see from this, though, Kane scored in most of the games. He scored 2 against Panama. They actually lost against Tunisia, which is pretty hilarious, really. He scored against Belgium. He scored against Poland, scored a hat-trick against Poland. A couple goals against Mexico in the quarterfinals. Didn't score against Denmark, but Eric Dyer put them through to the final, where Harry Kane scored in the final to beat Brazil. So the last World Cup I'm going to look at in this video is this very impressive win for Senegal. They beat Brazil 4-2 in the final. What an unbelievable achievement that is. It went to extra time as well. We've seen a lot of World Cup finals go to extra time. Brazil went down to 10 men before the end of this match. They actually relied on a Neymar 91st equaliser to get it to extra time in the first place. But 2 goals from this chap, Diatta, 19 years old. He's only ever 2 goals for Senegal in the World Cup final to win his country the World Cup. That is truly astonishing. Let's have a quick look to see how they got there then. I'm always curious to see the journey that these surprise teams make. So Senegal are in the bottom group, aren't they? I'm actually in the way, so you can't actually see. There we go. They finished second with only 4 points. They beat Japan 1-0, who finished bottom of the group. They drew against Colombia, finished above them on goal difference, and they lost against Poland. But it was enough to go through to the second round. In the second round, they beat England 4-2. Of course they beat England. What an impressive win. Babacar with 2 goals. A late penalty as well. Bolde scored from 2-0 down to win 4-2. All the goals in the second half. England collapsed in that second half. Quarter-final stage then. They managed to... Oh, wow. What a game. 6-5. 6-5 against Serbia. Serbia opened the scoring through Jovic in the first minute. Mane scored in the 6th. He scored 4 goals in this game. They then took the lead. Kostic got them back, Serbia back into it. There's so many goals, I'm confused really. But yeah, it went to extra time. Mane scored twice in extra time. Tadic got a 5th for Serbia, but it wasn't enough. That is an incredible game. Mane, the hero for Senegal, to put them into the semi-finals, where they defeated Portugal in extra time thanks to a Mane goal in the 121st minute. Ronaldo missed a penalty in the 104th minute. Let's have a look at this last gasp goal then to put Senegal through to the World Cup final. Mane, the hero. Here he is, slamming it home past the keeper. Amazing, an amazing achievement, and of course they went on to win the final. Third place playoff was won by Portugal against France. Top goal scorer was Neymar, but most importantly, Senegal win the World Cup. Thank you for watching this video. 500 simulations complete, and we're well on the way to 1,000. If you want to get involved in this project, please check out the links in the description below. Join the Discord chat. It's a lot of fun, this. There's so many intriguing stories in these simulations. Of course, there's a lot of predictable World Cups as well, but the more we simulate, the more randomness we will see, and hopefully we will get all 32 nations at least reaching the semi-finals of the World Cup come the end, once I've finally decided to call it a day. If you haven't done so already, please leave a like on this video. If you're new to the channel, I'd very much appreciate it if you subscribed and check out some of my other content. Lots of Football Manager content. I've been doing this for years now. I will be doing a few Let's Play series with these World Cup nations, some of the underdogs, the first of which will be Iceland, so please check that out when it's released. But until next time, enjoy FM18, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you very soon.